Senator Kennedy to kick us off.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Judge Dudick, did I say that name right?
That's correct, Senator.
All right, what's the warrant requirement?
Well, before the court would issue a warrant, you have to assess to make sure that there's probable cause to either search the place.
When's a warrant required?
Excuse me?
When is a warrant required?
The general rule is a warrant is required any time that the government wants to search a person, place, or thing.
Could you speak into the mic?
Oh, I'm sorry, Senator. Yeah, I said the backdrop rule is that a warrant is required any time the government wants to search a person, place, or a thing.
And to arrest you, right?
There are some exceptions to that, but generally, yes.
Okay.
What's up, Patriots? Welcome back to The Heritage Hustle, where the truth hits harder than a D.C. press secretary dodging questions. Today, we're reacting to something that, on the surface, looks like a bunch of senators playing nice. But if you pay close attention, it reveals everything that's wrong with the ruling class. The topic? Senator Dick Durbin, yes, that Dick Durbin, announced he's not running for re-election. And suddenly, we're seeing this parade of bipartisan praise, nostalgia, and polite backpatting in the Senate Judiciary Committee. Sounds harmless, right? Wrong. Let's break this whole charade down, Heritage Hustle style.
Okay. And there are exceptions to the warrant requirement for searching and arresting people, are they not? Are there not?
Yes, Senator, there are.
Okay. Suppose the Florida Supreme Court ruled that here in Florida, we're not going to recognize any exceptions to the warrant requirement. You have to have a warrant to search someone, and you have to have a warrant to arrest someone. Mm-hmm. No exceptions. Can the Florida Supreme Court do that?
Well, Senator, under the Supremacy Clause, they'd be bound by what the Fourth Amendment dictates. Of course, they're free to make their own requirements as it.
What if the Florida Supreme Court did it under the Florida Constitution and not the federal Constitution?
Well, they would still, Senator, have to apply with what the federal Constitution said.
No, they wouldn't.
Under the Supremacy Clause.
Do you know what adequate and independent state grounds means?
Sure. Of course, I would understand that they could have independent and adequate state grounds for state law, but they.
No, they don't. As long as you don't take away rights, but add to them, a state can do whatever it wants to under its state constitution, can it?
Yes, sir. Yes,
but
Senator.
that's not what you just said. You think the Supremacy Clause applies? The Supremacy Clause applies.
Well,
you want to change your answer?
Senator, I would like to change my answer to the extent that I agree with you that the Florida legislature or Florida could do exactly what you said. I meant in my statement is that.
Trust me, it can. Judge Pruitt, I'm sorry, I can't see that far.
It's Judge Pratt, Senator. Yes.
Judge Pratt, I apologize. I can't see that far. Can a state legislature pass a law that discriminates against a group of people over another group of people for inferior treatment?
Well, Senator, the federal Constitution and the state Constitution both contain protections against various forms of discrimination.
But can a state legislature say this group, we're going to treat this group of people differently than another group of people?
So I think, Senator, an example where a legislature
tell
could
me first if a state can do that.
Yes, a state can, for example, require a driving age which discriminates on the basis of age. To say, for example,
when can a state legislature not do that?
When it's seeking to do so under a basis that is protected under the state or federal Constitution.
Okay, good. Judge, tell me about the privileges and immunities clause.
The Privileges and Immunities Clause There's a privileges and immunities and a privileges or immunities
Right.
clause. There's one of each. One of them relates.
Privileges and is what I'm asking you about.
I believe you're referring to what came through in one of the Reconstruction amendments and discussing the fact that that the privileges and immunities of citizenship would be extended
Well,
under those.
first, what article is it in?
I believe it's in the 13th Amendment.
No, 4th. Article 4. What does it do?
Senator, you have pinpointed a question that in my 9 years as a judge, in my decade of private practice before this, my 2 years as a law clerk, my 2 years on law review in law school, including a year as editor-in-chief, didn't ever come up.
You tell me you don't know?
So it's an interesting question.
Yes,
and
ma'am. I know it's interesting. That's why I asked it.
Yes,
But you don't know the answer. Just tell me. I got a lot of ground to cover here.
I would be very happy to research it.
Okay. Do you know what the privileges or immunities clause is?
With respect to my answer would be the same on that.
You don't know it either.
Well, with respect to the privileges and immunities of citizenship, my recollection is that,
Privileges are immunities.
yes, my recollection is that was discussed in one of the Reconstruction amendments.
Which one do you know?
I believe it was the 13th or the 14th.
Okay. All right, Judge. What's Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of '64 do? Ma'am?
Which judge?
This judge down here on the far end.
Artau?
I can't see that
Okay.
far.
Just making sure, because there's 4 judges there. Judge Artau, I'm going to let you answer that briefly.
Hey, I want to reclaim my time, Mr. Chairman.
You can
Madam
answer that
Chairman.
briefly.
Judge, what's Title VI of the Civil Rights Act do?
I believe that ensures that people are treated equally in any places that they would be, that they would not be discriminated against.
In all cases?
Refresh my recollection as to what you were referring to,
I'm
Senator.
referring to Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which you're going to see every other Thursday as a federal judge.
So I believe that's under the Commerce Clause. They wanted to make sure that there was not any discrimination going on with regard to race, and that was addressing
it. It prohibits discriminating on the basis of race or color or national origin under what circumstance? Do you know the answer?
Under any circumstances where you're providing services to people.
No, it's only if you're getting federal money. You need to brush up on that one. I'm way over my time. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Kennedy.
Senator John Kennedy kicked things off by acknowledging Durbin's retirement and thanking him for his years of service. Pretty standard stuff, but let's not pretend this is just about respect. What this really was is the establishment protecting one of its own. Dick Durbin is no innocent elder statesman. This is the guy who's been at the heart of every left-wing judiciary power grab for decades, from undermining conservative SCOTUS nominees to weaponizing Senate procedures to shilling for Biden's radical judicial agenda. Yet Kennedy, Lee, even Cruz start singing Durbin's praises like he's some kind of founding father. No, folks, Durbin wasn't fighting for the Constitution, he was fighting against it. Next, Senator Mike Lee pipes in with a nice, tidy tribute, how Durbin was friendly when he joined the committee, how they passed some legislation together. And look, I get it. There's a place for civility in government, but let's not confuse civility with complacency. What's happening here is exactly why the American people are fed up. These guys talk about fighting the left on camera, but behind closed doors, it's all jokes, hugs, and podcast shout-outs. Now here's where things get disappointing. Senator Ted Cruz, the supposed conservative firebrand, admits he praised Durbin on a podcast and then apologized to him on the Senate floor for saying something nice. First of all, why apologize? If you praised him, stand by it. If you regret it, say why. Don't try to have it both ways. Cruz even calls Durbin a formidable adversary and a remarkably talented lawyer. Yeah, Ted, and Benedict Arnold was a remarkably talented general. Being skilled doesn't make you right, and sounding reasonable doesn't make your ideas any less dangerous. And of course, Durbin himself chimes in to say, "I tweeted about it," mocking, because nothing says statesman like tweeting your resignation. This is the modern left, folks, obsessed with optics, allergic to substance. Then things get weirder. The conversation shifts to something or someone named Martin and an upcoming vote on the D.C. U.S. Attorney. Now, why the cryptic handoff? Why the sudden change of subject? Could it be that there's something going on behind the scenes with the D.C. U.S. Attorney appointment? Something they don't want the American people focused on? This is how the swamp operates. They butter each other up in public while cutting backroom deals when they think nobody's paying attention. But here at the Heritage Hustle, we're watching. Chairman Grassley, who we usually respect, says he's waiting to put the U.S. Attorney discussion on the agenda. He says his staff needs more time and that things were worked out behind the scenes. Oh, really? Worked out behind the scenes? That's exactly what we've had enough of. Secret deals, insider games, and closed-door arrangements while the rest of us foot the bill and lose our freedom. What's clear in this whole exchange is how the system protects itself. The senators didn't say one word about the mess Durbin leaves behind. No talk of the open border, the weaponized DOJ, or the rotting judiciary system he helped create. They just focused on how nice he was, how much they'll miss him, and how many podcast clips he can look forward to. Give me a break. Durbin was a key architect of the left's radical agenda. He deserves scrutiny, not sentimentality. Did you hear one word in this meeting about what the people want? About restoring constitutional order, fixing immigration, fighting crime, or protecting our kids from woke indoctrination? Nope. This whole thing was a D.C. cocktail party in committee form. You're not supposed to be represented. You're supposed to be distracted. This is why we need to clean house. We can't keep electing people who play nice with the left just to protect the honor of the institution. The institution is broken. The left weaponized it, and the right just tipped their hat and played along. Durbin leaving isn't enough. We need a new wave of America First patriots, people who'll tear the roots of this swamp out and never apologize for doing it. So what can we do? Here's your action list, folks. 1. Call your senators. Tell them you're watching closely. 2. Share this video. The mainstream media won't cover this like we do. 3. Join the fight. Whether it's school board meetings or state primaries, get involved. Don't just talk about the problem, be part of the solution. If this kind of no BS breakdown is what you live for, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and ring the bell. We bring the heat every week, and we never apologize for loving our country. Until next time, stay bold, stay free, and stay in the fight. This is the Heritage Hustle, signing off. Subscribe The Heritage Hustle, Truth, Tradition, Tenacity.